Okay. All right. Thank you, everyone, for being here. We've already called the meeting to order and took roll. Everyone was here. We've had an executive session, and we came out of executive session with no action taken. So now we're reconvening the regular session, and next order of business is the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. Next, we have, did everyone have a chance to look at the agenda? Do we have a motion to adopt the agenda?
Motion to adopt the agenda?
Second.
We have a motion. It's been seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor of adopting the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none. Motion carries. Now the consent agenda. Do we have a motion?
Motion to adopt the consent agenda.
Second?
We have a motion. It's been seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor of approving the consent agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none. Thank you. Thank you from the audience as well. It sounded like you, Mel. I know. All right, next we'll go into the reports. My report is going to be based almost exclusively on what we have coming up over 4th of July. I think most of you probably heard we have a bunch of stuff coming on from farmers market starting on Thursday night. Then we have a car show on Friday into a gala with the proceeds of this fundraiser will be benefiting. One of the benefactors is Richard Petty's foundation that goes towards a camp for kids that can't make it to camp that have diseases and stuff like that don't allow them to travel and things like that. So that's huge, and we're starting to really market that. So all the information is on our website. So please, people, if you have an old car, Mo, you need. Okay, good. If you have an old car that you'd like to put in the car show, and Sarah has some flyers for everyone to take if you're interested. But Richard Petty is going to be riding in the parade in someone's car. So he's going to come and look at all the cars in the car show and pick which car he's going to ride in. So that's really cool. So if you have a cool old car or whatever, or any car, it doesn't matter, but he'll choose what he wants to ride in. Then the gala is Friday night for the fundraiser, and then on Saturday, there's all sorts of things happening downtown, and then we have the parade, 7 o'clock at night, and then a concert after that, and then fireworks after that. So we have a ton going on, and please, when you guys are leaving, grab the flyers and help spread the word. But we're kind of hitting it hard right now to make sure everybody knows about it. But this is something that we've been planning for 9 months. We've been working on this, and it's really a regional event. We're trying to bring in people from Idaho Falls, Salt Lake, or whatever with their cool cars. So I think it's something that I don't know if it'll ever happen again, but we really want to go out on this, seeing as though it's the 250th celebration. So it should be really fun. But if you have any questions, call Town Hall or just get a flyer, and all the information should be on there. Next is the, this is definitely not the right meeting. Let me.
Nope, that would be my Travel and Tourism Board meeting. Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
If I may, the
Please.
next report is by Craig Leesberg, and
Yep.
I'd like to at least read part of his.
Yeah, go for it.
Because I've, for the folks at home and specifically in my neighborhood, contract crews are scheduled to grade all town dirt roads on June 4th and June 5th to improve road conditions and prepare surfaces for seasonal maintenance. Following grading activities, a dust control treatment will be applied on June 5th to help reduce airborne dust and improve driving conditions throughout the summer season. So for all you folks on the hill or around the hill, June 4th and June 5th is when that dust abatement will be happening. Thank you.
Thank you. Here we go, we're on the right one. Next is the clerk treasurer's report. She submitted it in writing, but did you have anything to add?
No.
Okay. Planning and zoning report, submitted in writing. Anything else to add from the group? Okay. Code enforcement officer, everyone's doing these submitted in writing. They're afraid of us, I guess. They don't want to come. Let's see. Next, we're into action items. And first on the list is annexation agreement for Alpine Lakes addition. Do we have a motion?
Seeking a motion, or make a motion to approve the annexation agreement for the Alpine Lakes addition between the Town of Alpine, Palisades Investments LLC, and the J.M. McSweeney Revocable Trust regarding the proposed annexation and future development of approximately 61 acres contiguous to the Town of Alpine boundaries.
Second.
We have a motion. It's been seconded. Discussion. Okay, so this is a very long document, and I know some council members had some questions. Mr. Sanderson, I saw that you had some interactions today. Do you think that, do we need to kind of gloss over any of the questions, or what would you recommend?
Let the person who's asking it
Okay.
ask the questions.
Sure. Do you have any questions?
Answer them the best.
I got most of my questions answered by Mr. Sanderson. So I did catch one thing under recitals, item D. The last sentence says March 1st, 2001. I think that is supposed to say March 1st, 2021, if I'm correct. And then I kind of have an impact statement. I say impact statement. I don't know what I should call it. But I'd like to make a statement about the annexation unless other people have questions first. I think one of the items that I wanted to clarify, and I apologize, I was not at the meeting, but it's now 61 acres instead of the original 30. So did you happen to have that map that shows the difference, or do we just have the 61 acre map?
The new map that just went out, I think, was
Okay.
this the full 61
Is the full...
or whatever
Okay.
it is, yeah.
Okay.
Are you asking for the old map? Or
I mean, I
the
guess I
original
was
map?
trying to figure out what the original 30 was versus the additional
You
31.
go to one, it should be there.
Okay.
They can point it out.
It should be,
Oh, part of the packet?
Yeah, it's
On
part of the
page
packet.
16.
Okay, I'll pull it up.
Has the map.
Because I'll probably read what I want
Yeah,
to
go ahead.
say, if that's all right?
Go
Okay. Mayor, council, and members of the public, I am speaking on behalf of the residents who voted for me for representation. Tonight, I want to be very clear about something. This is not an argument against growth. It is not an argument against development, and it is not an argument against the property owners. It is an argument for responsible governance, fiscal responsibility, and to protecting the long-term interests of the town of Alpine. I keep hearing that annexing Alpine Lakes will somehow help solve our water and sewer challenges. But I have a simple question. If annexation was the solution, why are we still here? For years, Alpine has annexed property after property with the promise that growth would strengthen our finance and improve infrastructure. Yet today, our water system still needs about $1 million in significant upgrades, as does our sewer system. We continue to discuss infrastructure deficiencies, funding challenges, and future obligations. If annexation was the answer, why do the problems remain? At some point, we have to evaluate whether the strategy itself is working, because what I see is a pattern of using future growth to justify today's commitments. But growth is not free. Growth requires roads. Growth requires snow plowing. Growth requires maintenance. Growth requires staffing. Growth requires water capacity. Growth requires sewer capacity. Growth requires future repairs and replacement of infrastructure, as we saw in Alpine Meadows. The question is not whether growth generates revenue. The question is whether it generates enough revenue to cover the costs it creates. Who pays for that over the next 14 years to 2040 as this development grows and we are still recapturing the $2.25 million in credits? 1.4 well, you knew we discussed the ERUs, 180 ERUs, there is a credit to each one of approximately $12,500 that is due to old agreements and credits. I have not seen evidence that this annexation solves our infrastructure challenges. In fact, I worry we are being asked to repeat the same approach that has left us where we are today. A development that may take 10, 15, or 20 years to fully build out does not solve the infrastructure challenges we face right now. Today's problems require today's solutions, not future projections, not future rooftops, not future promises. And let's talk about the finances. This agreement recognizes more than $2.25 million in water and sewer credits, and that is kind of the bottom line. That is why I'm not against development or annexation, but it's a loss of recapture of these credits. This should have prompted more scrutiny, not less. For 4 years, I've requested more independent accounting review of said credits. Not because I oppose development, not because I oppose annexation, but because taxpayers deserve verification before we obligate future revenue. How do we know every claimed expense properly relates to infrastructure? As I spoke with the attorney, I understand that that ship has sailed and $2.25 million is the credit at hand. In November of 2024, the town attorney completed a comprehensive review of these agreements and recommended denial of this annexation. The mayor agreed in January of 2025 that the town had done its due diligence and found that with the original contracts, amendments, and annexation agreement, the annexation of Alpine Lakes did not benefit the health, safety, and wellness of the town of Alpine. What has changed? Why are we voting to bind a future council and mayor that is 6 months out? This should be before the next administration and not at the end of this administration. Has the water system been fixed? Has the sewer system been fixed? Has a new financial analysis demonstrated a net benefit to the town? Has an independent legal review been conducted of this latest agreement as it was done in 2024? I think we should table until that is fully complete for the new mayor and council to decide. Because if legal review is necessary before saying no in 2024, why is legal review not necessary before saying yes today? This is not the same agreement. This agreement recognizes millions in credits, creates long-term obligation, and includes de-annexation provisions, preserves utility access rights, and could affect Alpine for decades. Why are we applying less scrutiny now than we did before? As a council member, we are expected to make informed decisions if we are not provided all the information necessary to evaluate the financial risks. Voting is not due diligence. Voting is what happens after due diligence is complete. Questions come first. Verifications come first. Facts come first. That is not obstruction. That is good governance. I'm also concerned that history is repeating itself. I cannot tell you how many times I sit up here and we always are saying the previous mayor, the previous council. We are told we are not bound by previous decisions, but we are. We are still dealing with all of those consequences today, day in and day out. Now we are being asked to make another long-term commitment. They may bind future mayors and councils. We should not repeat the mistakes of the past. A project can be good for a developer and still be bad for the town. Our responsibility is not to approve growth for the sake of growth. Our responsibility is to protect the health, safety, welfare, and financial future of Alpine. I do want to recommend we read ordinance number 2025-001. An ordinance of the town of Alpine prohibiting the extension of water and sewer services to property located outside the incorporated boundaries of the town of Alpine. There are exceptions to this rule, but there is already an unauthorized connection to the town's water service in violation of this ordinance within this annexation. And so I do think we have to figure out how 2025-001 affects this agreement. And finally, we were elected to represent the people. The feedback I receive from residents is consistent. They are concerned about infrastructure capacity. They are concerned about financial risk, and they are concerned about growth outpacing services. The smartest decision is not to reject development forever, and I said that at the beginning. The smartest decision is to get our water and sewer system dialed in first. complete the accounting review, complete the legal review, understand the true costs, then determine what growth we can handle. We've already tried annexing our way to solvency. Before we do it again, show us the evidence that worked the last time. I would like to move to table this agreement until council receive an independent legal review and leave this for the next administration. Thank you.
I heard a motion, but I did not hear a second. No second. Okay, motion failed. If you send that to me, I'll respond formally.
Okay.
But informally, there was a lot there. I think you're glossing over the fact that we received infrastructure when this was put in, and we received the mega well, which is now well number 4, which we're going through and getting that tied into the whole system. We're got application to the SLIB board for them to fund the expansion of the mega well, which will pump upwards of 2,500 gallons a minute. And then to address what you mentioned about, why we said no previously and what's changed. Well, a lot has changed. We have impact fees now. We've implemented the things that will help us make sure that this project keeps the town of Alpine solvent. It didn't make sense before, but it makes sense now. And we put a lot of effort into this contract. We've worked diligently with the petitioners and their counsel and their subcontractors that are helping us get it over the finish line. So I'm completely comfortable with that, and I think there's huge benefits that will come because of that. So anyways, any other comments in general, or anything to add?
Oh, I can add.
Go ahead.
So a few things, just to kind of base over this, not only with this annexation, but with all annexations. There's been a question of capacity for sewer and water. Kevin, do you mind talking specific to capacity for both sewer and water annexations?
Yeah, so right now this system is tied in off the mega well. So well 4, like you just mentioned. So that's set up to run all this, and then what that SLIB fee, that grant that we've got, is going to do is connect to the town. So that would not only be taking care of this, which it was designed for, just this, but then it'll also be helping the town at that point.
And
So-
how much extra capacity does
Well,
it,
right now, it's only running around 400 gallons a minute on it, but it can go up to 2,500 gallons.
2,500
Yeah.
gallons?
Which is
So-
more than our other 3 wells
Yes.
pump combined.
Exactly,
So
so,
we would be more than doubling our capacity by tying that in and upgrading the system like we're asking through SLIP.
exactly.
So-
Yep, that's what the design is for, yes.
Okay. So not only, so as far as the mega well being able to go up to 2,500, that should be able to handle not only the original 31, but the 6 plus the others,
Right.
full 61?
And as you know, that we don't know what's going to be developed in there. Is it going to be a whole bunch of apartments? Is it going to be, it all depends on the zoning and those kind of things, and what they come in with. And when is that going to happen over time? So at this point in time, it's easily going to take care of it. In 10 years from now, it should easily take care of it. In
And
10 years
same
from now,
with-
we're looking at moving up. So
Same with the other annexation of,
the dry dog,
Yeah,
yes,
right. Okay.
yeah.
Which is much smaller.
Yeah, yeah, it's still a 6-inch line that runs through there, though,
Yeah.
what the proposal was. So, and the sewer capacity during the summer, with all the tourists in town, we're running about 43% capacity, so we're still way under what we can do. The biggest thing that we'd want to look at is trying to do the study that we've talked about, is where all the sewer lines kind of come together, any restriction points, those kind of things. But this development isn't going to happen tomorrow.
Right.
We know that. Each development, if you're lucky, you're going to get maybe 3% build out a year kind of thing. So, we've got a ways to go that we can get all those pieces and all those studies put together and find out any points that we might have some weaknesses and get that taken care of. So, but right now, we've got capacity in the water and the sewer.
and that's taking care of those that are already in town?
Yes.
Plus the future?
Once it's all connected, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, exactly.
great, thank you.
Which we have a grant through
Yeah.
the state to pay for
revolving.
half of the tie-in,
Yes,
half of the 410,000, and then the SLID request that we have is going to pay for the expansion of it, get it up to whatever size
Right.
we need the well to pump, and also get it so it ties in to our existing system on this side of the river.
Right, so it does that connection, that's what the first one is, and then we put another one in, and that one's to actually upsize the mains where it's needed, because they identified some choke points in the master study.
Yep.
So that's the whole thing, is trying to get things set up logically as you move forward, because you would have never built this system out like this now, because you didn't know where you were going.
Right.
So the best you can do is be ready for what you've got, and then prepare for the future. So,
Thank you.
okay.
Thanks, Kevin.
And then,
Go ahead. Did you have anything else to add?
oh yeah, I'll be going kind of around the room, if you don't mind.
Go for it.
Mr. Mayor. On your treasurer's hat, how does this differ from, how are these credits updated from the original 2020 contract to this contract? So,
The last time we looked at their annexation, prior to the addition of capacity fees and restructuring of our utility procedure ordinance and our utility rates, what we were looking at is the town was looking at receiving no funds for every connection for the first 180 single-family home connections in this development. What we've been able to negotiate is a contract where they do pay a portion of those fees, and they will be by way of capacity fees, which capacity fees, the way you've adopted them, are designed to pay for future growth. So they're exactly the mechanism that the town council has so appropriately set up to allow us to have funds to be able to meet the demands for growth. You can't use it to fix a system you've already got, but you can use it to upgrade the mega well, to assist with the tie-in, to one day expand the wastewater treatment plant, if that needs to happen someday. And so we've negotiated a deal that allows us to collect about $1.2 million from those 180 credits. The number, again, the last time they came to us with an annexation, we would have received for those connections was 0. The other thing that we've been able to negotiate with them is payment of an impact fee that is not tied to water or sewer. It's tied to the structures. And so there is a fee that will be paid every time there is a single-family residential unit created, and there is a fee that will be paid to the town of Alpine to offset the impacts of growth for every commercial, based on commercial square footage of structures. And so I don't have those calculations because honestly, I don't know what the development looks like in the future. And once we have that information, we'll be able to accurately predict the funds that the town can assume to receive from that.
But that's the $400 per residence and the $150 per 1,000 square feet?
Correct.
and then how does it affect usage cost, excuse me?
So they will pay the same usage costs as everybody else that is paying now.
Okay.
So, granted, there is economies of scale that happen when a development comes on. I mean, if you add 10 homes, it's unlikely to need another employee. At some point, a development in the magnitude of 61 acres. Shay is absolutely correct when she says that there is going to be streets that are going to need to be paved in that development, and that there is going to be valves that need to be turned in the summer and fire hydrants that need to be shoveled out. So, but that's going to happen. That's not going to, I don't see that as an immediate need. It's going to be a long-term need, and if we do our planning right, every time somebody else connects, we will then get monthly service fees that should cover the operating costs of those systems. And we'll also, like for plowing, that comes out of property taxes, which we'll get from the value of those properties as well.
Right.
Yeah.
And then finally, Jim, on the legal side, what improvements have been made from the 2020 that make you buy onto this? Because that's what I went off of last time was your recommendation.
Well, what this mean, what you went up on the last time was my recommendation?
On 2022, of
Oh,
saying no.
2024, saying no, okay. I
Yeah.
just want to make sure that we're clear that this other stuff was recommended no before.
Yes.
Well, what this basically does is it gives us exact number of credits, takes it away from a dollar amount to a credit amount, and gives us a time frame that it's going to end. It takes away the automatic build-in for inflation, and really gives us something that's a basis that we didn't have before, and just kind of calls an end to the dispute. All the unclear things that were in the previous arrangements of the previous agreements have all been clarified, and to me, that's what makes me feel comfortable about doing this. I worked for several months with Mr. Kim Miller working through this and trying to make it so that it was beneficial to both parties and not so one-sided.
And this isn't, for us passing this isn't us agreeing
To the annexation at all.
annexation. No.
No, they still have to apply for the annexation, but this would be part of the agreement that goes in for the annexation.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Thank you.
Do you have any other questions? Okay. Do you have anything you'd like
I
to
just
add?
want to say that last sentence again very, very loudly, because I've been asked this multiple times. This is not
The
an agreement
annexation.
to actually annex in the land. This is the homework for
Right.
the credits in preparation for the developer to submit.
Exactly.
Application
They
for
still would have to do
annexation.
their annexation report, they still have to do their annexation
All the things.
application and their cost analysis that needs to go in with those reports, so those things will be included in that.
So we can, if this were to pass, the developer can still choose to not annex for whatever
exactly.
reason, and that's the end of it.
Exactly.
So we're looking at this annexation agreement now as a special circumstance to this specific annexation.
Right.
Because it's not normally something we do
Exactly.
previous to the application.
Exactly.
Correct. I might be able to answer your question. This in general is the size of the annexation petition from a few years ago. This is around 30 acres. I don't know about some of these properties. The addition would be this, which is part of Highway 26, and these 4 lots that kind of, you can see that corner here, which is here.
So does then that mean all the credits can go to any parcel within that 61 acres?
Yep.
Okay.
Did you have anything to add right now?
I had just a kind of a general question
Yeah.
about the infrastructure that's already been put in. I don't, can you remember if we were involved, or remind me if we were involved in that when it was being put in? Do we, or would we need to go in and inspect it first so that we wouldn't have
So
another unknown
to
situation?
clarify what was put in, I believe there was a water service, a water line that was tied in to the mega well, but there's no sewer infrastructure, there's none of that. So,
So it's just water at this point?
and we've talked to the developer about that, and literally what we're going to do is we're going to give them 180, call it, for lack of a better term, like stock certificate for water and sewer. So whatever 3 or whatever there's, they'll give us 3 certificates back that they'll acknowledge those have been put in, so it will reduce that number. I don't know what the number is exactly. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay. But yes, we will inspect infrastructure and, go ahead.
I'd like to clarify, so the infrastructure that is in place up to the mega well was all done through the Weeman project, and so that was essentially a town of Alpine project. What they did do is they did install some additional water mains within that development, because there is 3 properties that are connected within there. Am I right about that? Is it 3? We decided?
2 on the Funk's property.
And 1 on Bill Weeman's property, so that are connected to that system. And all of those, just for clarification, I believe were connected before the enaction of the ordinance that would,
Yeah.
that said we would not extend water and sewer connections outside the town of Alpine limits as well.
And to be clear, we will be inspecting those three.
Yeah.
Yes, oh yeah. No, and they have agreed, the two properties that are part of the Funk development will utilize those credits. They'll be subtracted, and they will come in under that credit system. The other one, we need to work with Bill Weeman to reduce his credits.
Right. Which he has an agreement as well, which
Yeah.
kind of predates all of this stuff, because he did that before there was
Before he
another
sold the
transaction,
property.
before
Yeah.
any of this happened. But, do you have anything else to add? Or I was going to see if the petitioners wanted to come up and we might have some questions for them. Would that be all right with everybody? Okay. So I don't know, Colby and Matt, Mariah, if you wanted to add anything at this point? Could you hit that button and turn that on? Thanks, Colby. Tell everyone your name, by the way, and who you work for.
Colby Cox. I'm with Convergence Management Company representing the Funks on their annexation agreement application. So I'm acting as a, I guess, a consultant on their behalf. So I don't have much to say. I think it's been properly articulated here. I'm certainly available for questions. I mean, we obviously have been working on this for some time. I guess the ethos of this is, and I think the going in mentality of the Funks was very much good-willed and good-natured. And it was, look, there's kind of a mess here and it needs to be cleaned up. You know, there's a tremendous amount of ambiguity. You know, and to their credit, you know, the way the document was written, you know, as the town raised its fees, so, you know, so did the value of their credits increase. And, you know, they willingly said, look, that's not fair, so let's cap it, and whatever the costs, if the costs go up till 2040 to whatever they are, we pay the difference. And so I think that's a big, I think, benefit to the town. And like you all said, I mean, there's a lot of other cleanup that was done in here. There was some weird, you know, language and things like that, and contradictory stuff. But and then they have to make an application for annexation, and that's going to be another process. And this agreement, you know, lays out some good faith framework for what that will look like. But you know, it's subject to a vote, and it's subject to your scrutiny. And the public scrutiny. So I think this is literally 11 months in the making to get to this point. A tremendous amount of hard work from a lot of people went into it. And I think it represents, you know, solid good faith on behalf of my clients and the town, which is the basis of any mutually beneficial agreement.
Thanks, Colby. Any questions for Colby? Any other, it'd be questions for Colby or Matt, Kim Miller, or Jim at this point, I guess. It's a long document. It's a lot to digest in a couple weeks, but know that we've worked diligently, as Colby said, to get it over the finish line. So. And as Monica said, I think there's lots of things in there that benefit the town that are the reasons why we denied it before. So we've cleaned that up, made it beneficial to the town financially, and, you know, hopefully everyone understands that we put in a lot of effort, and it's our opinion this is the best thing for the town of Alpine. And like you just said, this does not mean annexation. This is just a precursor to that. But I anticipate them bringing forward a petition in the not too distant future.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
any other questions? Okay, thanks, Colby.
Yep, thank you.
All right, we have a motion on the table. We've discussed it at length. If there's no further questions, concerns, are you fine? Did you get everything out? Okay. If If there's no further comments, all those in favor of the motion to approve the annexation agreement for the Alpine Lakes addition between the Town of Alpine, Palisades Investments, LLC, and the J.M. McSweeney Revocable Trust regarding the proposed annexation and future development of approximately 61 acres contiguous to the Town of Alpine boundaries, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Okay, sounds like it was 4-1, right, Mr. Larson? I'm sorry, I didn't hear your vote.
Yes, aye.
Okay, 4-1, so that passes. Any public comment can be made at the end of the meeting. We are not required to take public comment. Next, we have the Land Use Development Code redesign. We have another suggestion, recommendation, staff report from Gina, the acting planning and zoning administrator, and we wanted to bring this forward again to see if we can get this over the finish line as well. Did everyone have a chance to read her recommendation?
Yes.
Okay. Again, this is something that's, I think everyone understands the land use development code needs to be updated. That's pretty clear. And she keeps bringing forward more reasons why we need to update it. So she's not here tonight, but if there's any questions on why this is being brought forward or what the benefit is of doing it now, this would be a good time to ask those questions, I guess.
I mean, I guess I'm a little confused, because the last time we brought this up, we had word that we wouldn't bring it back until we had 100,000 in donations to help pay for it.
That was no guarantee, but that would be helpful for sure.
Okay, because it's kind of like the master plan. We approved 250, we had 100,000 from the air park.
That they backed out on, and it was a quid pro quo.
To each his own.
It
So
was.
I think where I'm a little, we are spending consultant money. I feel like, let's finish with one consultant before we get to the next consultant to the next. I feel like we have 3 different projects going right now. So I'll just say my 2 cents is, I do feel for Gina, I do feel for the process, I do feel for planning and zoning. But again, we keep doing this old adage of, we'll wait for the master plan to be done, and then we'll work on this. And we just keep shoving consultant after consultant, and we're spending money. I mean, 175,000 on this, and 250 on that, and luckily Safe Streets was federal money. But I just see this trend of, I don't know if it's putting us further ahead in the betterment of Alpine at this point. So, but that's my 2 cents.
Okay, thank you. I think you've had some opinions on this being brought forward.
Yeah, I 100% agree with planning and zoning. I've been listening in on their meetings these last few months, and I see their frustration. I see where they're running into conflicting policies. I see where they're running into holes in the land use development code. I see the hours and hours and hours of work they have to go fish through, again, contradicting policies. I'm on board with this project. My concern a couple months ago was I wasn't ready to just willy-nilly make a vote on that, to that dollar amount. I wanted it to be put into its home in the budget. I brought up to Gina that as of the second reading, a couple weeks ago, we had $133,000 to work with in the general fund, and that leaves one of these proposals available if we wanted to move forward.
Are you saying the current budget or next year's budget?
The 27
Okay.
budget. OPS would fit into that budget and still have elbow room to spare.
Right.
Monica, I just remembered what I called you about. I was gonna ask you to have some numbers, Ray, on the budget, like what we, maybe even off the top of your head, there was a budget surplus left over from the current year.
Let me grab the document.
Okay, thank
It's on
you.
my desk.
We'll go to Mo.
Oh, jeez.
Tell us your name real quick, so everyone here knows
Melissa
who you are.
Wilson on the Planning and Zoning Commission.
She's the chairman of the Planning and
Chairperson.
Zoning.
Yes, chairman, yes, I'm good with that.
Yep.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Spending that amount of money to revamp the planning and zoning, when the status quo that we've always done is in the winter months, we comb through it. And we're only 4 people, and there's only so much that we can look at and see it outside of other eyes and other purview, so to speak. And I can understand Gina's frustration. I mean, Christine even had these frustrations as well, as, you change one thing and then something later on in the chapter gets overlooked and then contradicts. And so Gina's thought process is that it's going to help to eliminate that and clean it up. But, I mean, this is something we always go through them in the wintertime, and we'll continue to work through it and comb through it and keep doing what we're doing. The main concern is trying to alleviate any kind of grayness, ambiguity, and stuff that we're missing. I mean, this land use development code is a growing document. It's constantly changing and updating. And, I mean, as our town and our growth changes and our citizens change, as does the land use development code. So.
And the other thing that this consultant does, the one that I would recommend we go with, the more expensive one, but they use the online system. I can't remember off the top of my head. It's
Yeah,
called
she mentioned that one as well.
Drive.
Yeah.
It's in here, but.
Oni drivers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, this would be the thing that even if we chose the other consultant, we'd wish we wanted this, and we'd probably be trying to implement it within 5 years.
Yeah.
Something like that. So the consultant that I would recommend is KKC, and they write it in that. I'm going to find it too real quick because I know I may have skipped over it.
How much is it, Eric? How much is KKC?
So we have 2 proposals.
And they're a lot. It's a lot.
So
It is a whole lot.
the one is, KKC is 171,000, and the other one, I believe, is,
111.
oops, I'm sorry, 111.
And change.
So there's a delta of, like, whatever that is.
59.
59,000. To me, that difference is well worth having it done online.
Yeah.
That whole process, they'll write it in there. It doesn't have to be imported into that at a future date. And I think, both consultants are great. I would just rather get the I guess it would be considered the Cadillac now. And coming right on the heels of the master plan, to me, the timing's right. This is a long process. I mean, it could take 6-8 months at least
If
to
not
have them do the work, and then we still have to implement it, have time to.
And
go
read through it.
Yep.
And that's the one thing that, I'm sure you guys made that determination as well, is that even after they get done with this, we're all going to have to read through it and study it, just like we've done in the past. Anytime we change the land use development code, or update it, or anything along those lines, we read through it and try to figure out, oh crap, we missed this, oh, we caught that, oh, we shouldn't do this is what this means. And I assume that we'll be able to do the same thing with this one as well, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, the cost, I'm right there with you, Shay. I'm like, that is a significant amount of coin that we have to spend as a town, and just like you were saying, it's perfect for after the master plan comes in, and we've got to make sure that all matches up. We've spent a lot of money on the master plan. We've got to try to make sure that the LUDC matches land use, or the master plan as well. I can see both sides too. I mean, it's beneficial.
So, Madam Treasurer, you have
Yes.
some information for us.
So as of our last budget meeting, and these numbers will be updated for the 11th, however, year-to-date, fiscal year '26, we're showing a $310,000 year-to-date surplus.
In the general
However, yes, in the general fund. However, my amended budget for the year leaves us with $194,000 surplus at that point. Again, those numbers can change. A lot of people send us stuff at the end of the year, and we try to capture it all. But our 2027 proposed budget at the last budget meeting shows a surplus of $163,000.
So my recommendation would be to take a chunk of it down in the current budget with the surplus of whatever's remaining based on our last discussion, and then take another chunk out of next year's, and then get this going, and then it becomes less of a problem on the future administration. Everyone's going to have a chance to have public comment on that, but through the Land Use Development Code, we're going to have hearings and all that stuff, feedback, just like in the master plan process. There's plenty of opportunities.
Hopefully, and hopefully a lot of people actually come forward and talk about what they want to see with their town to do as well, as building codes, and this affects everybody. Yeah, we all have our own homes here now, and we all live here now, but if you don't want that to change, or if you need to adapt it or change something, this is the time. This is what the P&Z is for.
Well, and to clarify what this really does, is the master plan is kind of our long-term
I wasn't
vision.
talking about the master plan, I was talking about.
But let me just clarify this.
Yes, sir.
The master plan is the long-term vision.
Right.
To implement what the master plan says, that has to be done in the Land Use Development Code.
As well,
And
yes.
so, the master plan is just a document that's going to be sitting on the shelf until we update the Land Use Development Code.
Yeah.
So I think the timing's right to
Yeah.
implement those changes as soon as possible. And by the time we start this, I think we would be up and going, ready for the building season next year. And that's what the consultants have told us is possible, so, there's still going to be tons of
Oh, my gosh, yes.
effort on your end.
Well, yeah, and so
Yeah.
much homework.
Because you
so
already
much
have a
work.
long list of changes that you're recommending.
Yeah.
And to your point about the $100,000, I have asked developers directly if they would contribute to this, and I think people are totally willing to contribute. Basically, they would be giving to the town of Alpine a dollar amount that we could choose to use to, whatever, offset some of those costs. I don't want to give a number. I wanted to have developers say, I'll give you $100,000. That hasn't happened yet, but, I haven't seen the checks. But people I know want to help out because it doesn't benefit just us, it benefits them coming in under these new land use development code, something that's a solid document that we feel comfortable with. So.
Yeah, and it definitely has to match up with the master plan as well.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
All right.
And we keep combing through it. I mean, it's, even if this doesn't go through, and we're still going to read through it and do our best to comb through it like we do every winter. And public input is definitely appreciated.
Yeah. All right, so do we have any other comments or questions or anything? Do we have a motion?
I
Yep.
completely understand the necessity for it, and I think that doing it I don't think we should wait until the master plan is completed. I think it should be done concurrently. And I think once we make an actual decision to move forward with it, we'll have a greater possibility of seeing donations.
Yeah.
Where it's not an abstract
Right.
concept, where it's actually happening.
I
I just
agree.
want to make sure that we're comfortable finding the right place for it in the budget.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I think
I
we've
agree
kind of
with that, too.
established through our budget meetings, with the surplus that we have in the current year and what we're looking at now. We haven't had capital projects completely come in yet, and we're still, those other things that we're discussing.
Yeah, and there also was the proposal that Gina had put forth before, that town council could even look at adopting an additional fee or increase the building fees, and then taking a proportional share of them for this project as well. Because in truth, the need or demand to do it is driven by the people building. So they go hand in hand, so that's completely, would be an appropriate
Yeah.
process, and I think that's something we should probably zero in on, the appetite for that on the 11th, when we have our next budget meeting.
Yeah. Changing the structure. Councilmember Larson, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, just kind of as before, I'm still not on board with the cost, at least at this moment in time. I really want to get our budget settled. As far as the necessities, I'm more of get the necessities done. As far as developers helping us pay for this, personally, I'm not up for that. Town of Alpine project, I want to keep it Town of Alpine project. That's my preference. I don't want a developer thinking favoritism because they donated X amount of dollars. So for me, it would be the town of Alpine completely paying for this. I definitely understand. I've
You've
watched
been to our
it.
meet's, yeah.
I've read through it.
Yeah.
I get it. I do. I feel for you guys 150%. For me personally, I just need to be more secure in where we're at in our final budgets.
I
and
totally
everything.
agree with that, too. I mean, I'm not saying that we should just throw it all out and go gung-ho. I agree with you about the budget, absolutely.
Yeah,
It's a spendy adventure.
yeah. I'm just, right now, I'm still not, until we have the budget, I'm not ready to decide on a company yet.
So this is a little bit of a, which one's the cart, which one's the horse?
Yep.
Because my question was, how can we settle on a budget if we don't know which consultant we're going with?
Right.
If we vote on which consultant, then you have the number to put into the budget.
Yeah. For me, it's finding out those final capital calls and putting that into or priority 1, priority 2, priority
Sure.
3. So if we can, if we throw in, say, KKC at 175, but yet come back to another capital project, it's like, well, it's not necessary, but man, that'd be really nice. We could have saved $50,000 and purchased that. Then there may be something where I'd go with OPS, or even less of increasing building fees to help offset this, is my thought right now.
So what I'm hearing is maybe, because our budget hearing is on the 19th?
The 11th.
Sorry, whatever, 11th, 19th.
You're close.
It's soon. But maybe we need to discuss that further during the next budget session, and then if we find the room in there, then we'll bring it forward at the meeting on the 23rd or subsequent meetings,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yep.
Is that,
Not only that, but to have that final number for the 26, because I definitely see if we're going to have, you said 163-ish?
That's where we were then,
That's where we
yes.
were then. So
Yes.
if we're going to have anywhere in with that, I definitely see a split that would be
Yeah, yeah.
favorable for this.
do some now and some later?
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
sounds good. I'd be open to that. So let's just, there's no motion, we'll just keep moving on, but I appreciate the discussion. So next, we have resolution number 2026-027. Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve resolution number 2026-027, Dry Dog Development, LLC, Alpine Apex, annexation petition certification.
Second.
We have a motion, it's been seconded. Discussion. Madam Clerk, just give us a quick down and dirty background on why this is being brought forward at this point during this process.
Yeah, so the Dry Dog Development LLC had held with the town staff their pre-petition meeting, and then they completed their petition application, and they have went through the pre-petition planning and zoning process as required, and that report from that process is attached. Upon completion of that process, the town ordinance allows them to petition the town of Alpine, in which they have done so. So this resolution is simply my certification that the application is found to be complete and the setting on of their hearing.
Sounds good. So we're not approving the annexation tonight, correct?
Correct. This is just the setting of a public hearing for the Dry Dog Development Alpine Apex annexation petition, which will be held on July 7th, 2026.
All right, I just wanted to make sure we made that clear to anybody watching at home.
Yep.
Any other questions, comments for Monica on this? Mr. Sanderson, in your opinion, have we sufficed all the legal statutes in the state of Wyoming for this? All right, thank you. Any other
It's not approving the
Yes, thank you. Any other discussion? All right, all those in favor of resolution number 2026-027, say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
Motion carries. All right, moving on to Alpine Flats request for extension of buildings 3 and 4 permits. Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve a 12-month extension for the Alpine Flats Building 3 and 4 permits beyond the current June 12, 2027 expiration date.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion. It's been seconded. Discussion. Madam Clerk, I think we'll probably ask Drew to come up in a minute, but maybe you could give us just a little bit of the facts on this as well.
Yeah, so recently, Mr. Hale, who is a representative of Sundance Properties, has met with the town, both planning and zoning staff, myself, and Mayor Green, the Public Works Director, to reignite the start of the Alpine Flats development. We know anybody familiar with that, know there's been a bit of a lull in that project. Previously, they had a total of 4 permits, one of which they do have a certificate of occupancy on. There is 3 other permits that were started with the town of Alpine. Due to the extension requirements or restrictions, I should say, in the Land Use Development Code, Mr. Hale has requested that we take under consideration the possibility of, in advance of him applying for an extension for 2 of the permits that he currently has that he can extend to next June, that he is asking that town council consider extending them in some fashion past that, when they will expire 1 year from now, if he extends them. While he believes that they will get the projects done, they need to be able to ensure that they have enough time to fully complete them once they move forward. So that's basically it. The third part, the third building, though that permit is now completely expired, unable to get extended, and they are going through the process with planning and zoning to apply for a new building permit on that.
So they're reapplying, there was 4 original.
Yep,
They've
one is
completed
complete.
1. They've passed their date of completion on the 2nd.
Yes.
Buildings 3 and 4, they're kind of being proactive, coming and saying,
Yes.
we're unlikely to get this
Yep.
done, but our land use development code doesn't allow us to do more than 1 extension.
One more extension,
Right.
which will push them to June of '27.
Right, so that likely, they're going to go over their time, so they have requested that they get an extension.
They're being
It's better to-
proactive.
They're being proactive and
Yes.
coming in now instead of coming in later. Right now, we've got the staff's recommendation up here as well.
So just to clarify, so this popped up last month on a project where they were within 2 weeks of completion and asked for just a 2-week extension beyond
Right.
their...
Well, we gave them 3 months, but.
Sure, whatever, yeah, it was
Yeah.
very, very close to beginning. So they're already, they got their permit in June of '24, it was renewed in June of '25, and now here we are in June of '26, and they're asking for a 1.5 year extension on a project that hasn't been started.
It was issued in '26, which means in '25, which means it would expire in June of '26. Wait,
Yeah.
issued in '24, 1 year
First one was
extension.
issued in June of '24, the one extension was issued in June of '25.
So
So here we are in June of '26, they're asking for their 12-month extension, which they're allowed, plus an additional 6 months
Correct.
to finish a project that's not started.
There is work done, and I can't speak to that.
Okay.
Can you speak to that?
Yeah,
They
okay.
have their foundations in, but yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think,
I'm just trying to get the timeline
Yeah.
here. so.
yeah, I think the clock has ticked. I guess I go back to kind of what Gina said. Consistency in permit administration, fairness to future applicants, precedent for future extension requests. Yeah, I think just the timing and just watching it over the years, I think it's back to square one, in my opinion.
Okay.
I feel like there was probably extenuating circumstances that caused this pause in construction, and maybe Mr. Hill can speak to that and help us understand.
You can come up now. Thanks. Yeah. Tell everyone your name.
Drew Hale, I'm representing the Alpine Flats Development and Sundance Properties. Mayor, Council, thank you for having us on the agenda tonight. So Monica pretty well covered everything. I mean, you know, we've had, there's been some market conditions and a myriad of reasons, and about a year ago, the decision was made to just pause where we were at while we restructured everything. And it's been a long year, but a good year. And so we are at the finish line. We have restructured the project with a funding partnership to more reflect, you know, the demands of the project and everything like that from the previous lender. The new lender, very excitable about the project. We actually met, they were here in that meeting as well that we had with Monica and the others. So this is a 2-year loan to complete the next 3 buildings, get everything done there, and then kind of, you know, reassess the rest from there of the ultimate master plan of the project. This is this lender is also, they're also developers, so they're very experienced and
They've worked in a similar market many
yeah,
times.
exactly. So it's not just a conventional bank. So they got a lot of questions. There are obviously a tremendous amount of due diligence. It's a good thing, though, because it's going to mean that basically, you know, everything is addressed prior to funding. The big issue they had was with the permits, though. This is a new thing for them where once a permit's open, typically in markets they've worked in, as long as work is going on and, you know, you're making significant progress, once you complete, you get your C of O. The expiring permits is kind of a new thing for them. They don't love it. I understand that's how the ordinances are written, so that's where we're at. So they would love for the Building 3 and Building 4, since we do have open permits on there, to be coterminous with the loan. We're trying to close by the 3rd week of June. Obviously, time is not on our side as we watch the pages fly off the calendar into this
Is that a stipulation of their funding, is to have this in place, or if, for example, if you don't get the extension tonight, they're still going to move forward? Is that your understanding?
We have other paths forward. You know, I read this today. They really want a year. So if we can get a year in some form or fashion, I would love to do it.
So 2 years total.
Correct,
Your
yeah.
12-month
So
extension.
like I said, we've unfortunately burned through our, you know, at the time when we pulled the permits, it made sense to do it. We've burned through all the time watching it do nothing. So, and I understand it's been frustrating for everyone, including us. So, yeah, they would like it to just go to June of 28, so 1 additional year. And we are in the process of re-permitting Building 2, but in the interest of expedience, being able to just jump right back in with the open permits of 3 and 4 and the progress that we have on those buildings right now.
And does
You know,
that
we're ready to
change
go.
the fee schedule as far as hookups and such?
They've already prepaid for all of that.
That's all
Yeah,
paid.
yeah, those are
Okay.
They have,
And that, yeah, those lines have been ran to each one of those
Yeah.
buildings, so that's been taken care of.
and inspected now.
yeah.
Yeah.
And you use the term lender, but it's really, has the project sold to a developer, or you're in
No.
the middle of selling it? Or
No,
you're not? So
no.
it is just a,
It's a refinance, basically.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And I met with the lender and with you, and I definitely think that may have been what held up the project before, in my opinion, is not having the proper funding in place. And that may be the reason why there was a pause. We're not looking for you to tell us the reason why there was a pause, but something happened. I felt comfortable talking to this lender that he wants to move forward, and you're going to get the funding required to move forward. So,
Yes.
and you're going to be motivated to get those buildings built in 2 years.
Yes.
Because your funding will run out. So you'll have to build 3 buildings in 2 years.
Correct.
And one of them, you're going to come back in and ask for the new fees, the new building permit, which would be $12,847.
We've already initiated.
Yeah.
So.
Your application's in on that, and you should be up and going pretty soon on that. So, I would just, look for, the staff made a recommendation. Does anyone else have a different recommendation, or, what are your
Yeah.
thoughts?
Well, again, the bank is asking, essentially you're asking for a third extension.
Correct.
What our policy
Yeah.
says. I'm a little not sure how to handle, your bank is trying to make this our decision. So
Well-
rather than this being their,
They, it's the,
like,
they would, yeah, I understand. I understand it's a little weird. The permits, while we have a pretty good level of confidence we could get those 2 done in a year, it's tough because we're, halfway into the build season right now, and there's really, it's very gray, and there's not a lot of guidance on what happens on June 13th, and we're 90% done. And I understand that you guys, recently had a similar situation, but just due to the size of these structures and, the winter, it's very difficult working in the winter, and everyone knows that here.
We're going to have a winter this year.
Not last winter, but yeah. So I would have loved been cruising through last winter.
Yeah.
But that's neither here nor there. So it would make everyone more comfortable if there were permits that were in line with the loan term. So if there is an avenue to do that, aside from re-permitting, my understanding was that it's at the discretion of the council on if they could do something like that. I understand that it's a little atypical and outside of ordinance, but.
right.
Yeah.
If you have to re-permit, then you just have to re-permit?
We do, we just don't want to have to risk any
do we
more
amend?
delays.
Well, we can amend whatever we want, and someone could make a suggestion, but what, I guess, I think what I would be open to, because I think this is a great project. It brings housing for people that, we want to be in the community, and jobs and all that stuff. There's future commercial projects that you guys are looking at on that property. So, I'd love to see you guys hit the ground running. I don't get the feeling that if they don't get the extension, the project's just going to not happen. But I think that they're being proactive, and in my opinion, what I would recommend, and I don't know if town council's open to it or not, but instead of what the staff recommended is a 6-month extension, we do a year extension on top of that, and we do what they recommended at the $7,923.50 per building. That gives basically a $5,000 discount on each building permit, instead of having to come in and get a new one, and then for each building. And I mean, it saves them $10,000. The project's not going to stop because of $10,000, is my opinion. I don't know if that's true, but in my opinion, it wouldn't. But I think something like that would make the lender feel better, give them the confidence that they need to get this done in the next 2 years, and then town, the amount of work that the staff's put in getting this forward, I think we're more than covered at that price. So that would be my recommendation, but I'm open to hear what everyone else thinks.
I'm really glad to hear that you're continuing with the project. It
We're
was really
trying,
sad to see.
It's been very frustrating, yeah. So.
Housing is definitely important. We need it. One of the things that was said at the Bank of Star Valley year in review for 2025 was that if we don't build more housing, our youth will not come back. And that's happening now. There's nowhere for them to live, so.
Well, that's already happening. Alpine's
I
getting
know it's
older
our-
by the
but-
year.
Yeah, so exactly.
Oh,
So having
also,
more-
congratulations on the school. Very excited
Yeah,
about that.
thank you.
It's all part of the bigger picture
Yeah.
as well, so.
And having more options for, for the younger generation,
Yeah.
somewhere to live is great, so I'm very happy to see that you
Yeah.
guys are back.
$1 million+ houses are a hard sell for.
Young families.
And I understand that circumstances behind your control sometimes make it
Yep.
hard to keep continuity in the project.
Yeah, so.
Mr. Larson, do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, I'm glad this is getting back on the rails. But I have a hard time, because I rely on our staff, and so I rely on the staff recommendations, and also not setting precedent. So I'm kind of torn. Really sounds like everything that needs to be done, it may be even better to have a cleaner slate of we're doing a restart. Sure you guys don't want, I know you don't want to do that. I know the bank doesn't want to do that, but for all the ups and downs and ins and outs and maybe this and maybe that, it might be best just to go, let's just restart again. Jim, this type of precedent, that's...
You're setting precedent.
You are setting precedent.
Right.
So-
Make the decision.
It can also be said that the land use development code is so broken, and it's,
I agree.
and this is a perfect example, and planning and zoning has discussed it so often, that, to do a commercial building in 2 years in this environment is very difficult, especially a 16-unit building.
3 years,
So,
right?
that's,
3 years, right?
yeah, well, that's what it will be, but I'm just saying, in general, the way it's now, under commercial, you get 12 months plus 1 extension. So to get a building done,
I believe we do get two.
current,
Extensions.
I'm sorry?
2 years.
What is it?
Only one extension, 2 years total, but you've understand.
Yeah, residential is
One and-
different, or something, isn't it? Yeah. So anyways, it's broken, and I think this would be something that we'd want to fix, for sure. That will be fixed when we redo the land use development code, but.
Yeah. And just a side note, it's completely your business how you do that, but I know that it was a surprise to them to find out that the permits literally expire and you can't get a C of O, there is a power to shut the thing down even if you're almost there without some sort of intervention from the council and stuff.
And the alternative is, we do nothing, and then they come back this time next year, or before this time next year, and they're gonna be hat in hand asking, begging for whatever, so.
Yeah. I think, are we good to vote?
I mean, well, but also if we're going to set a
Need some
precedent,
stipulations in there.
I don't feel comfortable doing a discount.
No.
That would be, to me, the cost of doing business of the extension.
So do we just amend it to just,
Can you guys, I had a little trouble following I think what she was doing was charging us half of a new permit plus an extension fee for that. So we'll obviously pay $3,000 for an extension for June 12th, 26 to 27. And then the way I read it, it was like maybe an additional extension fee plus a new building fee permit at half.
What she's suggesting is $3,000 for the extension, a half extension fee, so $4,500, plus the half of the, okay.
That's the
I think this
12,847.
speaks to why we
Well,
probably should
of course,
start over.
but this is only
I
a
don't know
6 month, and we're
how
asking
many
for a
times
year.
we're going to go over this.
Let me just clarify it, and then we'll come up with a decision here in a minute. What she's suggesting is a 1-year extension fee is $3,000. She's saying half of that would be $1,500.
Okay.
Because she's saying for a 6-month extension, and then half of the building permit application is $6,423.50.
Got it. Okay.
So just add 1,500 and 6,400
That's the 79.
together. If that's too confusing for everyone to figure out, then, and you would rather he just move forward and roll the dice, or just come back and do the new building costs, it's up to you guys, but.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd like to go to a vote for
think-
just a new building permit. So I'm not sure if,
Well, we already have a motion on the
okay,
table, don't
so
we?
I guess we either just vote
Do we have a
against-
motion on the
We
table?
we have a motion on the table whether or not to approve
Okay, so let's just do that, and then,
the 12-month extension. That's the motion on the table right now.
Okay, and then if we were to do that, I think it would be smart to amend for what we would charge them for that extension. So, I mean, you can choose to vote yay or nay for the current motion, but it's really not going to solve the issue.
I think if we're now looking at an additional 12-month extension, we would just charge an additional, the $3,000 that would be for, the extension fee, instead of trying to.
but then
Half
that
of
means
this
every
and half of
builder
that.
from now
I was gonna
on
say,
that doesn't
this
make
is-
their deadline can cite tonight,
Yep.
and we have to discount in the future based on this vote. Okay. Well, or if it just gets voted down, aren't we finished? Okay.
Would anyone like to make an amendment, or are they fine with the motion as it stands on the table? Okay, hearing no amendment and no further discussion, all those in favor of a motion to approve a 12-month extension for Alpine Flats Building 3 and 4 permits beyond the current June 12th, 2027 expiration date, say aye. Opposed, say nay.
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 Sorry.
That's all
So,
right.
Yeah, not
I
to
think
be.
if come back when you're closer
Yeah.
and see where we're at, and.
Yeah, well, yeah, we'll initiate our plans. Like I said, they're needing to have some resolution on this, so I think
Yeah.
yeah.
be seeing
You may-
planning and zoning next week.
Yeah, you may decide just to start over on the other two if they need that confidence, but it's totally up to you.
Okay,
You run the risk of getting a similar vote a year from now. So-
all right, thank you very much.
Okay, thanks.
Thank
Drew.
you.
Appreciate your consideration.
And Drew, I will tell you that Gina will work with you if you need to get that on planning and zoning for next week, sir.
Thanks, Drew.
Thanks, Drew.
Okay, next, we have resolution for, let's see, 2026-029, amending the official meeting schedule for planning and zoning. Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve resolution number 2026-029, amending the official meeting schedules for the Planning and Zoning Commission and Design Review Committee for the town of Alpine, Wyoming for calendar year 2026.
Second?
We have a motion, it's been seconded, discussion. We could ask Mo up here, but it's pretty obvious that they feel like they would rather have 2 meetings a month during the building season, which I'm totally open to if they're willing to take on the added meetings and it's going to help our customers, then I think it's a valid reason to bring this forward. So does anyone have any further questions, concerns? Okay, all those in favor of resolution number 2026-029, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, resolution carries. All right, next is second reading of ordinance number 2026-004.
Motion to approve second reading of ordinance 2026-004, regulations governing open burning, recreational fires and outdoor fire.
Second?
We have a motion, it's been seconded, discussion. Okay, so, this is the second reading of this ordinance. Were there any changes from first reading to second reading, Madam Clerk?
Yes. We added the definition for pyrotechnic devices, reorganized definitions into alphabetical order for consistency and reliability, updated the ordinance title and repealer section to include ordinance number 2018-13 and broader conflicting ordinances. Revised Section 7 to clarify that fire restrictions or burn bans enacted by Lincoln County, the state of Wyoming, or applicable federal agencies shall automatically apply within the town of Alpine unless otherwise exempted or modified by town council. Updated nuisance smoke language and extinguishment authority language to ensure consistency throughout the ordinance. Added additional safety provisions to the portable outdoor fireplaces section to mirror requirements already established for recreational fires, including requirement for fire suppression equipment, requirement that fires be fully extinguished before unattended, restrictions during hazardous conditions and high winds, and restrictions on prohibited burning materials. I do have a couple items I'd like to discuss with you, and we reviewed that if you don't mind. So Section 4 regarding recreational fires currently requires that fires be constantly attended by a responsible person. Staff is like to request that council direction regarding whether responsible person should be further defined within the ordinance. You may wish to consider whether responsible person must be at least 18, whether the responsible person must be physically present and capable of extinguishing the fire, and whether additional language is necessary for enforcement clarity. The other item was the setback. There was a few when I reviewed it, was the portable outdoor fireplace setback. With the outdoor portable fireplaces, I have one that I don't use anymore, but it sat on my deck. So when I read this and saw that it was 10 foot, I thought, well, that's beyond my deck. And they do come equipped with things, so I wanted to bring that to your attention for consideration. Yeah, go ahead.
What if we just be located at least 10 feet from combustible materials? But I guess that would be your structure.
Like, you wouldn't have it on your deck, I guess, because that deck would be combustible.
Yeah, I mean, so that was just something that went through my head. So it's certainly up to you what you want to do there. Also, we need clarity from you on whether the discharge of permissible fireworks should be allowed within the incorporated limits of the town of Alpine during specific holidays, including the 4th of July and New Year's Eve. Currently, by ordinance, the different ordinances actually say different things. One allows it on 4th of July, and one allows it only on New Year's Eve. So they contradict each other. So we just want to ensure that as we do this, that we don't miss these things.
The only thing that I would say about fireworks is I would think that we would make it, let's just say we bring forward a new ordinance like we've discussed, we kind of put it on pause, but it would repeal this section, or would we have to repeal this whole thing if we put it in there? Because in my opinion, this is more framed towards the burning and less about fireworks. So my consideration is, should we just take fireworks out of this completely?
And we absolutely could, but you need to understand, if you do that, you have banned the discharge of fireworks in the town of Alpine except for on New Year's. So that it was in the recreational burning ordinance. So if we redraft that ordinance and leave that language out, which may be exactly what you want, so we just need to be certain that that's what you want.
I'll speak to that. I've talked to a lot of people about this. A lot of people have opinions about fireworks. And the feedback I have gotten has been unanimous. Nobody wants fireworks in the town limits. It's also brought to my attention that, Alpine Meadows already bans fireworks in their subdivision, so why is it allowed in some parts of town and not other parts of town? Again, everyone I've talked to said, oh, just ban them completely within town limits.
Yeah.
Did Chief vote? Look through the new changes?
Yeah, he's certainly for the not
Complete ban.
Oh, no,
complete
I
ban.
know.
Yes.
But
I don't believe
Has he
we,
looked at the updated?
yeah, I mean, he's reviewed this. We have not brought to his attention this, because we just did this,
Sure,
this
okay.
past week.
Okay.
But we can certainly circle back to him once we have clarity on where we end up.
Let me just ask you this question. If we do this and we keep that language in about the fireworks, then we do an ordinance repealing that language in the future, then we're going to have to do another update to this at that time then as well.
I'm sorry, I want to
Okay,
make
so
sure I
if we,
understand.
if we, in the fall, talk about doing a standalone fireworks ordinance,
Yes,
right? And we have the language in this ordinance now.
Correct.
That we're at second reading.
we could split them if you'd like.
Why?
I mean, if you're concerned, if
Let
that's
me,
your
back to
concern.
my question, though. If we have an ordinance, this is a question for Jim, really, but if we have this ordinance for the fireworks, and we have this language in this one, and then we say that it's repealing all previous, ordinances and mentions, do we have to come back and redo this one, take that language out?
Yeah, I'm just wondering, Monica, I think you were trying to explain.
Can you turn on your microphone, Shay? Or can you help him out? Thanks.
I'm trying to explain, so if we just move to amend this and strike the fireworks section in here,
Yeah.
right? That way we don't have any other issues with the counter, or the contradicting other fireworks ordinances. Past this, I guess we could make a quick amendment to define responsible person, come up with that language, add that in, and then pass this on your third reading with those amendments. And then, as far as your fireworks ordinance, what was the,
Well, so the recreational burning ordinance currently in effect is what allows for the discharge of fireworks the day before, the 24 hours before, the day of the 4th of July, and the 24 hours following.
right?
There is another ordinance that we added language in this reading because I realized that is where it allows fireworks only to be discharged in the town of Alpine on New Year's.
Okay. So if you pass this with amendments, there would be no fireworks.
Right.
But could we do a resolution that allowed them for this year?
No, because then you don't have a law.
Okay.
Yeah. Resolutions are, this is what we would like to do, and
Okay,
And-
here's another thing. We could actually pass this on second reading and then, wait, third reading's going to be after the July 4th. We could just do it after July 4th. And then we could strike that section and then,
Third reading be a...
it doesn't have to be, we can choose whenever we want to do it. But then we strike that section. We don't even have to do it tonight. We could do it on third reading after the 4th of July and then,
add your responsible person language too.
yep.
Okay. All right.
Does that make sense?
I mean, and I do know you guys don't like that it's uncomfortable to make changes from
On the
between
fly.
second and third. I mean, if you so desire, we can edit this and come back to the second reading.
We could just,
That may make
We could just-
everybody more
I'd
comfortable.
rather do that.
with that.
Yeah.
let's just move it down the list, give you an opportunity, maybe you and Riley could tackle,
Yes.
Riley or somebody could tackle this, and then we'll move down the list and,
So do you want to table the second
Table
reading?
it.
Is that what we're doing?
That's what it
That's
sounds.
how I am understanding.
do you want to table it, or do you want to table it until the what's our next meeting?
23rd.
23rd.
23rd, table it until the 23rd? Okay, let's do that. So let's, I would entertain a motion to,
Move to table.
I would entertain a motion to table until the meeting on the 23rd.
So moved.
So moved. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion to table until the 23rd, say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Hearing none? You voted?
I was aye.
Okay.
I was aye.
Yep, thank you. So we'll just keep that on the 23rd. Okay,
Nay pattern.
Next is the employee policy. Okay, resolution number 2026-028. Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve resolution number 2026-028, amendment to the Town of Alpine Employee Policy and Procedure Manual regarding clerk, treasurer, severance, and payroll schedule.
Second?
We have a motion. It's been seconded. Discussion.
So did you, since I was absent on May 19th, and I apologize, I didn't read back, did we already approve administrator?
Yes.
Okay, so this is an addition.
Yes. And just to clarify, this says anyone that's worked here more than 2 years is not eligible for this. So this would not be eligible for, say, Monica at this point.
Correct.
Yeah, I guess my opinion is, I understood with administrator, because you're probably leaving a position that you're giving up a very good package. I guess I think we're going down a slippery slope with how many positions are going to get 8 weeks of severance, in my opinion. I feel very comfortable on the administrator one. On this one, I'm a little more hesitant that we are adding large ticket, payroll items that I just don't know. I don't have future crystal ball of our, at this point, we have a solid clerk.
Yeah.
I'm not looking that this severance would be something that pops up a lot, but I feel like administrator, I understood. This one, we're starting to go a little further.
Yep.
The discussion was that the administrator and the clerk treasurer positions are council-approved positions.
Oh, okay.
And just kind of those two key linchpin, positions. So was the idea is that if you have a new person under 2 years in one of those positions, the administration changes over and wants to votes them out of their job, essentially, that they would have a little bit of a buffer.
Okay. No, and I understand the historical. I think for me, I feel like this is, and I'll vote how but I think if this came up and you have a new administration and a new clerk or something like that, I think that would be something to come back to, but for me.
Sure. Any other thoughts on this side of the table? Did you have any thoughts before I go over there? Okay.
No.
Did you have any thoughts? Okay. Mr. Larson?
No, it doesn't apply to Monica.
Yeah, I was going to say, we're not voting anything
The
that,
same scenario in the future, if we have a new clerk and they leave a good job, and then something happens with the new administration, they get cut out, so.
Yeah. Monica, are you planning to leave us anytime soon?
No, sir.
Okay. All right. I don't personally see a problem with this.
Just to note,
those two positions.
there's also a bit of a cleanup for payroll. So we've been getting paid on a certain schedule for almost 2 years now, and Riley recently read the handbook, and so when we were talking about it, she's like, oh, I thought it was Friday, and I'm like, no, it's Wednesday, so we're just cleaning that up.
okay.
So thank you.
All right, back to this, any other discussion? All right, all those in favor of resolution number 2026-028, amendment to the Town of Alpine Employee Policy and Procedure Manual regarding clerk, treasurer, severance, and payroll schedule, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
Motion carries. Now, project priority designation. This was just added today, if I'm not mistaken, so we'll give you the background on that, but we're looking for a motion to get this on the table.
I can do it.
Go for it.
Make a motion to designate the selected project as the Town of Alpine's Priority 1 funding project and the selected project as Priority 2 for submission to the Wyoming Office of State Lands and Investments. And I guess said projects are sanitary sewer project or well number 4 improvement project.
Thank you. We
And-
have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion. It's been seconded. Discussion. Madam Clerk, can you give us the background on this?
Yes, we have 2 applications in, MRG applicants that are coming before the SLIB board. And as often happens when you go before that body, if you have multiple projects, as they go, the staff goes through their process, they ask us to do things such as answer questions like, if you didn't get all of the funding, what would you do? How would you prioritize those projects? It's becoming fairly consistent that I think in the future, staff needs to find a way to address that with council, because it really is your decision. It's not staff's decision about these things. And so Riley and I recognize it's a long-term, it's something we need to fix through our resolution process with you, so that we can make sure that when they're, they email me on a Friday and they want it right away, that we can give them an answer that really is truly coming from you.
But they understand that that's very difficult. Like,
Yes.
Town council only meets every 2 weeks.
Exactly.
And all that stuff.
Yeah, we're going to try to find a solution that will address that.
But then we would trust staff to tell us which project, like we do it during our budget, priority, high, medium.
That's almost what the solution is. Like when we
Okay.
consider these and put in the grant, we almost have to reprioritize them every single time we do something like that. So maybe that's the solution. But Riley, did you have something to add? Oh, all right, thank you.
Mayor, Council, Riley Hoforka, Town Administrator. Sometimes these boards that grant grants, they invite you to meetings. They want you to attend their meetings so that you can answer questions, and sometimes things happen on the fly. And I've been in some of those state meetings before where they literally have someone up at a podium and they're like, which project would you choose? And establishing protocol for if it's staff, if it's a mayor, if it's a council representative, whoever the town of Alpine sends to represent us, that person needs to be equipped to be able to make decisions on the fly. And this is just one example of something that's reoccurring. And so we can work out how to address that, but we always need to make sure that we're sending our representatives prepared.
Okay. So back to that, are we making we are deciding if it's the sanitary sewer or wellness?
Yeah, if you look at this email from Whitney with the state of Wyoming, they've kind of asked us to say which one would prioritize. So the sanitary sewer project, if I'm not mistaken, is the Alpine
It's the Alpine Meadows project.
Which is MRG grant request for emergency funds.
It was originally an emergency request. However, they determined since we fixed the emergency, it's no longer emergency, and then they put it on the regular schedule. And so it's a $400,000 application, of which we will get approximately, what was it? Half. So approximately $200,000. The other project is the Well for Improvement project, which Kevin spoke a little bit about earlier in the meeting. The enlargement of mains, the larger pumps, just making Well for appropriate to serve a larger population, and that is a roughly $1.7 million project. And so that project, the grant would be half. However, my understanding, and Ryan isn't here anymore, is he? Because they did the application from Sunrise, but there is a loan piece, and that loan piece is actually forgivable for roughly about a 75%.
Right. So potentially we would be on the hook for some small number compared to
25% of it, yeah.
Right. So,
It feels like the well would be a better bang for our buck.
You're talking, from your lips to God's ear. If we got them to, give us, and the other thing that I would say about the sanitary sewer project, I talked to staff about it today, and if you guys are amenable to it, maybe what we could do is we could write, and maybe the administrator could come up and help us with this language, but you've done it in the town of Jackson before, but give each of the people in Alpine Meadows that we've designated their property as having an issue, is we give them a letter that basically says, we understand we have an issue, and whenever somebody ties into the infrastructure, that we will fix it at that time. So we fixed all of the houses that are, have a problem. And so that's something that I think we could do, maybe to set their mind at ease.
Yeah.
Instead of taking on this big project now to help out or fix everything now, we just kind of say, whenever people tie in, we're here to tell you that we're going to fix it at that point, which puts less of the burden on us. But I totally agree. To me, the bigger priority is the expansion of the tie-in or of well number 4 improvement project. But that's my opinion. Sounds like that's...
I mean, how did we go from the slip board's eyes, though? We put in this emergency grant, and now we're saying, well, this isn't even our first priority? Like, that seems like a...
Well, we're past emergency now, so the MRC... Is it MRC? MRG
Yeah.
grant, like, we're past the MRG funding, and now we're going directly to SLIP. So, yeah, and their staff is looking for us to tell them, like, what's the bigger priority? And to me, it's kind of obvious, so... but
I just want to make sure we're doing,
I
I just want to make sure we're doing right, like, by, I know Alpine Meadows, and I've talked with several of the folks that live there, they're concerned that this is never going to get fixed, that we're going to kick the can, that we're going to rip up the roads and not fix them. And so, do we have a cohesive moving forward plan with that subdivision? And I don't want to miss the opportunity to get funding to do that to address the immediate concern over something that's a long time in progress yet.
Yeah. There is no immediate concern, in my opinion. Do you have immediate concerns with Alpine Meadows?
The residents are concerned that we're just never going to fix their sewer or...
Don't you think we could fix or help their concerns by giving them
that's
this
my question.
guarantee?
Yeah, that's my
basically?
question, is as long as there's a moving forward plan with them to
I think if we
address
give the
it.
property owners that still have an issue a letter of guarantee saying what you said, when you construct on this property, and it'll be transferable if they sell it.
Riley, what's the name of that document? This is the first time Jim's hearing of it, so could you turn on the mic?
Jim is probably aware, there are lots of different forms of contracts and agreements out there. One form of contract and agreement is called a letter agreement. It's us writing a letter to them saying, hey, we're here, we want to approach you and demonstrate good faith efforts. When you go to develop your property, we'll fix it. If you consent, sign a letter. They're pretty straightforward. Do you have anything else to add on that
No,
format?
I was wondering if there's something that we could, so that nobody forgets or loses their letter.
Yeah.
Get it
Why don't we just record it?
Oh, record.
Oh, yeah, we could. Yeah.
Include the description and record it.
Yeah, letter agreements are a little less intimidating. They might not feel the need to contact legal counsel, for example. They're a bit more approachable to your neighbor next door. And so if the attorney is amenable to it, I think letter agreements that are recorded, if we want to step it up a notch, would be appropriate.
Includes the legal description so we can record it.
And then it can transfer to any future
Yeah,
owners.
exactly. So if they transfer to future owner, then it's going to come up in their title commitment and say, hey, this is...
Town of Alpine's basically said they'll go. Okay.
Exactly.
So I don't know if that means that sways you one way or the other, or if you would like to change the, well, we need an amendment anyways to talk about the priority, but, an amendment could be to choose one and then have a stipulation on the other if you felt strongly about that.
Yeah, I don't feel like it needs to be tied for this particular action.
We just put it on the public record and said we want to do it,
Okay.
but we didn't make a decision on that, but we can come back with a resolution stating that that's how we'd like to proceed. So we could talk about doing that on the next meeting.
Yeah, I'm kind of on board there as well. That was my first thought. Well, this is an emergency, so it should be priority one. But as we start explaining and it was like, okay, the better bang for the buck is well number 4. So let's plan on next meeting, Madam Clerk, to have a resolution
For
a letter.
The letter. What's it called?
Letter agreement?
Letter agreement.
Different places do things different ways. You could also direct staff tonight to prepare letter agreements in consultation with legal counsel and bring those back for approval by council at a future meeting date.
Done.
Yeah, you could just direct me on the fly, and I'll come back with
I
it.
think you just did it. You voluntold yourself to do it. All right, thank you.
So should I just amend what I said?
I would think that would be good if
Okay.
you'd like to select the project.
I'd like to make a motion to designate,
Motion of amendment.
amendment to the motion? Okay, amendment to the motion to designate well number 4 improvement project as the Town of Alpine's priority 1 funding project, and the sanitary sewer project is priority 2 for submission to the Wyoming Office of State Lands and Investments. But it sounds like, are we going to keep it submitted to SLIB?
Sure.
I mean,
But I heard your
I know you heard my,
motion.
apologies.
Let's
Finish my amendment
Okay.
to the motion.
Okay, so I heard an amendment. Do you need her to repeat it, or are you?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion, it's been seconded. Discussion. So just to clarify, you designated well number 4 as the priority number
Priority.
1, and then the sanitary sewer project is priority number 2.
Yes.
Yeah, we would keep both of them on the list with the SLIB, and so you never know. They could fund both. So if that happened, then we.
I just didn't know if we had a better project to submit, but it's probably too late to have a
Too late,
secondary.
yeah. Is that clear to everybody, the way it's, okay. Any other discussion on that? Everyone fine with how it's? Okay, so this is just the amendment, and then we'll go back to the original motion, but all those in favor of said amendment, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Hearing none, amendment carries. So we're back to the original motion. I think it's pretty clear, but is there any further discussion? All right, all those in favor of said amended amendment? Is there, no, okay. Designate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. So hopefully that gives you what you guys need, and then staff will come up with the letter, or whatever you guys want to call it, and then we'll do that. So now we'll go into public comment. Did anyone stick around to make public comment? Come on up. Go ahead. Dale,
Thank you and good evening.
do you mind turning on the microphone?
I can sure
Give us-
do that. It's
give us
red
your name.
now. Is it?
Yeah,
Is
it's
it on?
good.
Okay. My name is Dale Cottam. I'm an attorney. I maintain an office in Afton, and now I have office space in Jackson as well. I'm there once a week, and so I come through Alpine quite a bit. I represent clients from Smoot all the way up to Jackson, and I have quite a few in the Alpine area. Seems like it's been forever since I've been in front of you. You changed the layout. There's a few new faces here, but it was interesting to hear that a lot of the discussion and projects are still the same. It was kind of deja vu to hear the Alpine Lakes again and the
It's a little
developer.
sad, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, I was one of the original architects, or I was one of the architects on the original agreement, and it sure is comforting to know that Mr. Matt K. Miller is improving on that effort still today. That's great to know. And I'll follow along even though I don't have a client in that project any longer, which is fine. The reason I wanted to appear before you tonight and make comments is twofold. One, I am here representing the Alpine Air Park, and two things I wanted to communicate. First of all, we want to thank you for your cooperation in providing information about the charter school. That's been a concern about potential interference of airspace, and we are learning a lot about that potential and about the charter school that we did not know before. And we really appreciate your cooperation in helping us get educated, and we're looking forward to receiving the last little bit of information that we are seeking in order to finish our due diligence. So wanted to let you know we really appreciate it.
You guys have been talking?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're happy with the information.
Okay, good.
And we understand the information that we're getting. We're doing some research and due diligence on our own on the side, and that's been very helpful.
Yep.
So I wanted to let you know that. And then the second reason for being here tonight is to communicate another ongoing concern, and that is the potential annexation of the Alpine Air Park. That is something that the air park is very much opposed to. They do not want to see that happen. They want to remain outside of the town. They,
Are you speaking of them petitioning us or us forcing them to come into the town of Alpine?
the concern is that there may be in the future a forced annexation. They have no plans to petition for annexation, none whatsoever, Mr. Mayor, thank you. They are curious at a minimum, maybe concerned at most about the recent annexations nearby. And I, in full disclosure, I've been here in front of you representing clients who have petitioned to annex and who have successfully annexed the Alpine Flats and a number of others. And for those projects, it made a lot of sense, and for both the town and for the developer. But for this particular client, they see no benefit in being annexed into the town, and they frankly would like to know if there is any intent or future plan to annex them. One of the things that we discovered recently is a draft master plan that I think it just recently became a public document and is going to maybe be further discussed and considered. And in the draft that we have seen, there is a comment about, or a suggestion of the consultants preparing that master plan, that there should be some discussions with the air park about potentially, a consensual annexation. And so that raised some concerns. Mr. Mayor, you were explaining a little bit ago just what a master plan is, and that it is a work of consultants and suggestions, and a lot of times it's broad brush and ideas. And even if it's accepted by the town, for example, it often will sit on the shelf, and maybe it just gathers dust. And Mr. Mayor, I agree with all of that. But in representing some of my other clients and a municipal client or two, sometimes when future councils take over, there are concerned citizens, and they'll pull that master plan off the shelf, and they'll flip to the page and point to the language and say, why haven't you done this? This was something that you paid consultants to tell you was a good idea, and you should be doing it. And so, Mr. Mayor, I would specifically ask on behalf of my client for the consultants preparing that report to remove that suggestion. We would like to see that removed and not be in a document that's going to be accepted by the town and part of the official public record of the
To
town.
clarify which document you're talking about, within the master plan, there's a map that says if any of the people in this big area around Alpine came in, this is what we would suggest their zoning to be. And they don't want to be on that map.
Well, I could pull the language up, but there's, I don't remember the exact context, but I know there's some language there where the drafters of the master plan suggest to the town that you discuss with the Alpine Air Park about annexing.
Okay. What I'd recommend is we appointed a member of the air park to this steering committee. And I would recommend that that member email the steering committee initially with that recommendation. And then it'll be considered, and we'll look for public input, whatever, but it's already been put out there as a draft for the community to start looking at. So I think that would probably be the fastest way to get that done if I were to give you a recommendation. More than welcome to copy me on that email, but I would have the member that sits on the steering committee bring that forward.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I wish I'd have thought of that myself.
That's why you come here and sit for 2 hours of meetings, that type of advice.
I think we can do that, Mr.
Okay.
Okay.
Anything else?
Mr. Mayor, that's all I have on my notes.
Well, thanks for coming.
You bet. You're welcome.
Good to
Thank
see
you.
you again.
And I hope to be seeing you more regularly.
All right.
So,
Well, appreciate it.
Okay,
Thanks.
thank you.
Any other public comment? Hi there.
Hey there. How are you?
Give us your name.
Bill Sachs.
All right.
Alpine resident. So I had something completely different that I was going to talk about, but I didn't know. Can we pull up 9A?
What is 9A?
On the agenda for the annexation.
9A?
I think that's how you have it listed.
Okay.
On action items.
Yep, go ahead.
Okay. So, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, I want to speak briefly about transparency. Many people came here tonight because the agenda prominently listed the annexation agreement for the Alpine Lakes addition. Any reasonable citizen reading the description would believe that an important annexation-related decision was before this council this evening. What we learned tonight is that this was characterized as a procedural step rather than the actual annexation itself. I think we can get to that. See what
Is there a page that you'd like me to go to?
It's on your agenda.
Oh, I have it brought up.
Right, 9, it's under action items right underneath there, A.
Yeah, I have it. It's brought up right there.
Okay, there you go. Well, that's not exactly what's on the printed that's here, but
He's looking at the agenda himself.
I'm
There
sorry.
you go.
Here's the agenda, and then I brought the.
oh, my apology, I was looking up higher. Sorry, excuse me. So anyway, if that's the case, then I respectfully submit that the agenda should have said so, that it was just procedural tonight. Citizens do not have to be lawyers, planners, or developers to understand what their government's doing. If this was a preliminary action, say it's a preliminary action. If additional approvals remain, tell the public what those approvals are. Instead, many people took time away from their families, me, businesses, and obligations because they believe a significant annexation matter was being considered only to be told afterwards that it was not the annexation vote that they thought it was. Whether that was intentional or not, it creates confusion and undermines trust. The answer is simple: be more transparent, tell the public exactly what step is being taken, exactly what remains to be done, and exactly when the public will have the opportunity to be heard before the final decisions are made. Government works best when the people understand the process. Tonight, I don't think that happened. And thank you for hearing me.
Is that all you have?
Yeah, well, do we have to address just what was on the agenda tonight? Because I had one other thing.
You can say whatever you want.
I don't remember exactly what meeting it was, but we're talking about Gray's River Road, and I know Jeremy's talked about it several times and getting that thing repaved. Did I hear rumors, something about that we got an estimate of $750,000 or something to repair that road?
I can't remember. What is it? It's
I
around
think it was
that.
roughly
Yeah.
700,000. I think it was 690.
690.
Can you do it for us?
690.
Oh, so,
Oh,
I mean,
no.
that's not even close, and you know that.
Well,
Right, but if we're talking about fixing Gray's River Road,
just so you know, we'll hopefully clarify this for you, but what we're doing now is we're requesting,
flap,
no, we're not, we don't have time for flap. I've already gone down flap. Flap's not available.
yeah, we never revisited that. I know you submitted it once before.
Yeah,
but
we had a totally different application. It kind of got out of control.
Forgive me for
But
interrupting.
no, but what we're going to do, and thank you for bringing it up, our plan is to get our engineers, we have Jorgensen Engineering, and then we're going to ask Sunrise, who's already given us a bid, to basically, we want to do an RFP, and they need to design the RFP for us. So they need to come up with some basic standards, what needs to happen, but I don't think that's realistic either, and when they get into it, it's likely to go above and beyond.
Have you stunned them with what you realistically think that it could cost? I will if you don't want to. You're looking at about $3 million.
I don't think so, but I appreciate your feedback.
Right.
But we're going to get realistic, like not to exceed numbers for sure. So we'll see how it plays out. But
Because we've just been patching that, right? And it just keeps coming back.
We don't know when you pull off the top layer what it's going to look like underneath. So
Right.
That's exactly right. So we're hopeful that it's not 3, but if it's 3, then we will have to reconsider because we will not put $3 million in the budget, we'd have to reconsider that if that was the case.
I'm wondering if there's another avenue that we can go down outside of Flat, because let's face it, we know what that road is. It's an artery into the backcountry. And it's not one of our streets. I mean, it is, but it isn't, right?
Shared.
It was.
Right, but heavily shared with big 18-positioned snowmobile trailers and fifth
So
wheels and
there
diesel
are some other
trucks.
things that potentially we would do. I think that road got way worse when there was 18-wheelers going up and down that with whatever construction was happening up the grays,
Right.
And it was suggested by someone on the staff that maybe we should institute a permit process. If you're going to take any vehicles that size in the future on that road, they need to pay a certain amount, get a permit, things like that. So I think there's some things that we can do to ensure that the road stays the way we want it for much longer. But yeah, it's been patched, since the 70s, whatever. It was originally done 50 years ago. And I've even mentioned to staff on many occasions that if we redo the road, I would push for us not ever to do a cut across the road again. So it would have, if something had to be done, it would have to be bored. So that's just, something that we should consider. But I appreciate your feedback, and we'll definitely make sure that that's all very public and you guys will know what's going on. It affects most of the community, not only the people that live up there, but most of the people that use it, which is almost everyone in the town of Alpine and all of our residents. So it's very important.
I have one last question, Monica. On the fire pit, I've heard from a lot of different people about is it 3 feet? Is that ID or OD for interior dimension? You said that the fire pit could not exceed. Is it 3 feet? Because I've heard a lot of people that bought those.
You'd have to look
those
at it.
kind of hexagon-shaped fire pits from Tractor Supply. A lot of people bought those, and I think that they're closer to about 3.5. So they're like, what do I do? Just junk
We'll
it?
have staff look
That's
at
a
it.
good,
and-
that's a good point, thank
Right.
you.
I mean, they've already invested in those. It's not, and I mean, they were trying to do the right thing, keep it contained in a pit. So I thought that was
Oh, we don't
pretty
have
narrow.
it as
2 feet.
As feet. We have recreational fire listed at 3 feet
But
in
that's-
diameter, but we don't have portable
fire pit.
outdoor fireplaces.
Are not restricted.
Are not
Okay,
restricted.
thank you.
Oh,
So
they're
that is more for,
That's
a
for-
backyard
Yeah.
If
fire
you're
pit.
building like a bonfire or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Thank you all so much. I
No,
appreciate it.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for pointing that out.
Mr. Scow.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor.
Yep.
Dan Scow, Planning and Zoning. On the land use development redesign, is it possible that you could ask the creators of that document to send Planning and Zoning some land use development codes that they've already
Oh, yeah.
made?
Of course.
One from each, and
That's
then
a
we
great
could
idea.
review and
Give
kind
it-
of feedback back
That'd
to
be
you
great.
guys?
Yeah,
Great
that'd be
idea.
Is that good? Thanks.
Done. Staff's writing diligently. Isaac, come on up. Do you mind turning that on? Thank you.
Alrighty. I was gonna kind of ask about the sewer capacity. I know we're sitting at 43, but I also know approved projects we're sitting at estimated 97.
I don't know where you get that number.
May 17th meeting.
What was the context? Who gave us that number?
It was when the estimates were going over before. I don't have the exact documents, but I did pull that up in the records file.
I've never heard that number. I don't recall that number, but I don't, actually, the 43 number, I recall 35. So in the middle of the summer, what I recall last year, maybe this has changed in the last year, but it was somewhere in the range of 35 to 38 is what our current usage is percentage-wise of the capacity of the sewer plant.
Okay. Yeah, recall there was an estimated usage with approved indexations or something. I was wondering if you guys had an updated version of that.
I don't know where that number came from, so I'm more than happy to ask staff to look into it and see if they can find that, but I don't recall. If you've seen that meeting, or have the notes on it, if you can email staff on what meeting it was and what part of the meeting, then, we'll figure out where that number came from and see if we can either justify it or understand where it came from.
Yeah.
Could have come out of nowhere, I don't know.
Yeah, I can get the
Yeah, thank you.
detailed information on that.
That'd be great.
I do like the improvements with the fire code, because
Thank you.
beforehand, I thought that was way too restrictive with even owning fireworks there, so.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Question about that, what about permanent installs? How are those going, like existing permanent fire pits?
Very good point.
Do you have one at your house?
Yes, we actually use an old bandsaw fire blade that's actually
Oh,
about
yeah.
2.5 feet and it's about 4 foot
Just
diameter.
put it in the ground. So I think that would be like under the existing,
Yeah.
improved, or whatever. What's the language? I think, yeah.
Grandfather.
Grandfather, for sure.
All right. I just thought I'd ask about that.
Yeah.
No, thank
Thanks,
you.
Isaac. Hi there.
Hello, Mayor and Town Council. Yeah,
Give us your name, please.
I'm Marlene O'Leary.
Okay, thanks.
And I too thought it was annexation, you know.
It is on.
It's on.
She's doing good.
Annexation, you know, I own private property in the town of Alpine. And, you know, government is supposed to represent what's here and serve, you know, for protection, safety, all of the above. And a lot of the energy of this town council and you is expanding. And it's working with developers. And I heard you say the right kind of people, that these are the right kind of people we want. Well, you know, I live here, and I am aging. I'm one of those that are aging. And nowhere in this town, it's all financial and what have you. And you know what time it is? Right now. And water, we don't have a snowpack. And so what happens with more people, all right? Then I get a water. I can't water the 15 blue spruce trees that I planted. There's water restrictions. There's water.
Restrictions right now?
No, let me finish what I'm saying.
You made a comment.
There's water restrictions. I was in Douglas a couple weeks ago.
Not here.
Yeah, right. I mean, it is the fact, you know. And I just don't think that, you know, I'm being served as a citizen and as a human being. And, you know, takers take resources. There's a limited resource of water. It's a fact. And so, you know, I'm sure they want, like, to be the town of Alpine. And then there's the issue of representation. You know, people, you know, I don't get deals with my taxes. In fact, since COVID, the taxes went up. A lot of people left. They couldn't afford their taxes. Okay? And, you know, these are the workers in service industry. If you want people and families, you can't support a family. And what industry is here? It's serving Jackson. It's going up the canyon. It's, you know, serving, you know, airport and resources and what have you. There's nothing that you could raise a family. And the houses, you know, 40, the density in the town of Alpine, and we're not even talking with these annexations. It's taking. So, and then I read this big pile of stuff, okay? It took me all day to read it because it's an important issue, is annexation. And you know, the town of Alpine is within the boundaries, okay? And that's who elected you. And then with the annexations, it's like, well, of course, people that are getting all these sweet deals and they have homeowners associations and they have this and what have you. I am one person on my private property. So, you know, does it benefit me during this time of like crisis? If you create a crisis, then, you know, all I've seen grown is government for the town of Alpine and money for lawyers, administrators,
We've always had.
you know, that, well, and public input used to be after the issues before the votes. The vote is done. So, you know, I like my liberty, I like my freedom, I'm a U.S. citizen, and I don't need government telling me what to do on my private property. And it used to be if somebody was building something, you know, the mayor would come and talk to me and say, you know, or bring it in. No, you're being done to, this is it. And your comments today, the right kind of people, and aging, and what we need, and you talk as it's government. This is what government needs. This is what, follow the money. It's my money that went up during COVID because the valuation of my house, which I own, I pay basically rent to fund you to work with the developers that are outside of Alpine.
Not all of your property tax money comes.
I understand it's county. That's how, buyer beware. They already are there. That's being annexed into a town of limited resources and not serving me. And in fact, you know, shut up and sit down. That's what I feel like. Yeah. And I would ask for an agenda to, after each of these agenda items, for discussion, and more Robert's Rules of Order would be nice as well.
We deal with Robert's Rules of Order at every meeting, and I appreciate your feedback. Do you come to many of our meetings?
No.
Okay.
I came early on when things affect, and it's not getting better.
Okay, well, that's your opinion, and we respect your opinion.
Right. And government is to move slowly and methodically.
Well, okay, that's your opinion.
And the comments you made until the next administration, and let's get this in before the next elections, which you're not running.
I don't know how to help you. Are you done with your comment, or?
Well, I'm done with respect and whatever. Well, you know, respect is earned. Respect is earned.
Thank you. Any other public comments?
Thank you, Marlene.
All right, sounds like we're done. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion, it's been seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none. Thank you.